Hello everyone, welcome back. Earlier today, I asked you guys on Instagram for your most controversial musical/guitar opinions. And today, myself, along with the one and only, the Emerald Rider, the man with two first names, the roller coaster from Sarasota, Sean Daniel, are gonna be responding to those opinions.
No stranger to controversy.
Let's do this.
What an intro.
That was a good one.
My hype man. Nicely done.
First opinion that Gib Sannon has is everybody hate, and when I say my favorite guitarist is Steve Terbury. I think like Stevie T might be one of the most, maybe this is a controversial opinion, I think he might be one of the most important guitar players nowadays.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah, I think it's rare to find somebody who is that big of an outreach and is also a guitar player.
I don't know, is there a bigger flex than quitting Dragon Force before actually even playing a show with them too? That's pretty sick.
Way to go, Stevie T. Riley DePaula says, for someone to be successful with any music, jazz has to be understood at a very deep level. I fully disagree with that one. I think very few highly successful musicians have a jazz background or like understand jazz at a deep level. I think you could write off basically the entirety of rock and roll. I mean, the only people who really understand jazz at a very deep level are jazzers. And I mean, if you look at success based on financial success, then they are definitely wouldn't be the most successful musicians. Improvising is easier than reading.
I think that's on a person by person basis. I think that people learn differently, yeah?
Yeah.
And people who learn to read, it's like, yeah, reading's easy. Improvising could be super hard. I know a lot of classical musicians have a very, very difficult time improvising. Think of the scat man. You know what I mean?
Scooby-Doo-Doo-Yo-Do-Do.
Yeah, right?
What about him?
What would he say? Would it
I'm
be
the scat man, is what he would say.
Yeah, would it be easier to read or would it be easier to scat? He'll scat all the way home.
Okay, Flat Top Boy 2000, his controversial opinion
I'm already in.
is Ron Ashton is the most influential modern guitarist. What do you think about that?
Well, never heard of him, so
Me
no.
neither.
Absolutely not.
So that would be something I don't agree with. Controversial though, I like it.
It's controversial, yeah.
Jimmy Page is a really average guitarist. Go into a guitar store and listen to 10 players. And tell me if you think Jimmy Page would be average amongst them.
Would be 5 or 6 out of 10.
Search Find Search, his opinion is ukulele in pop music is the worst. That's not the worst.
Yeah.
There's worse things than ukulele.
I mean, what's the worst? Steel drums. I can't stand steel
Really?
drums, dude.
The worst musical sound.
I thought you were like a trap, like snare.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, okay, all right. That's,
Because it's not a cymbal, it's the hi-hat.
yeah, it sounded like a duck. Yeah, okay, all right. Yeah, that's not great.
Nick16 says his controversial opinion about guitars is it doesn't get the ladies.
Well, you're doing it wrong, Nick. Like, if you're like chugging deep Meshuggah cuts, like it's not gonna work. You know? Like, come on, man.
There's an art to playing guitar in environments where there's like an acoustic guitar present. You don't show off, you play the song that everyone can sing along to.
Now, just like a lot of the stuff in the lady attracting game, it's always good to have a hype bro.
Oh, gotta have a hype
You
bro.
need the hype bro, because you don't want to be the guy that picks up the acoustic guitar at the party, but if someone forces it, if you have a hype bro, it's like, oh dude, Samurai's the man, dude, come on, play us something, please. You're like, no,
I shouldn't.
No, dude, seriously, he's really good, boom.
And the little crowd starts forming. That one girl you've been attracted to for a while is like,
There you
oh,
go.
I wonder what he's got.
The hype bro ushers her up to the front.
If you go into a deep Meshuggah track after that, then that's on you, man.
Then you've squandered the work of a great hype bro.
Dan Timmerman.wave, his controversial opinion is cassettes were the best audio format. What's so great about cassettes? Cassettes are small, so they have smaller art. They don't sound as good. It's impossible to find the songs you want to listen to.
It's impossible to get the plastic off of them when you open them up for the first time. Oh, I remember that.
I don't see any redeeming quality in cassettes. So I would disagree.
Yep.
I would disagree strongly. But thank you for your opinion. Grant Risberg HRC, his opinion is people don't give country musicians the credit they deserve. I think everyone who's on country radio, from the drummer to the singer to the guitar player, they are all fantastic at what they do. You may not like what they do, but like those guys do what they do very, very well. So yeah, nice one.
I can chime in with some of mine if you want some controversial.
Yeah, let's do one of yours. So this one is a bonus Sean Daniel.
Oh, you ready?
Controversial musical opinion.
All right, I got a few of these. Prince would not be nearly as revered if he had dressed like a 90s sitcom dad. Taylor Swift is the most important guitar player of the last 20 years. Green Day would have been a lot better if they had bothered to learn a 4th chord. Britney's actually better than Christina. Bon Jovi's Hairspray was the most innovative member of the band. I've got one more point I can really use this one. Every Les Paul standard should come with a. I was pretty proud of that one.
Yeah, I might not put that one.
Yeah, I might not be able to use that. That's for the Patreon followers.
Here's one that is quite controversial. Frosty D05 says, technology today is ruining music. All the video games are making kids not learn music.
I don't know if it's ruining music.
Maybe it's like a weird cultural shift that happened. Kids these days, if you talk to them and say like, who are the biggest celebrities? To them, it's the PewDiePies and the Ninjas and the video gamers are on equally as high a level as any musicians out there. And because of that, they're more inclined to want to play video games than they would necessarily be music. I don't know that that's ruining music, and I don't think music is on a downslope in the least, but there's enough people out there so that there's a lot of people who can play video games, and there's always going to be enough people who make great music that's going to be available too. Ryan Moore, 16, his opinion is, blues isn't as great as everyone thinks.
I got a thing or two to say about this.
Here.
And my issue with the blues is that you have this kind of like beautiful manifestation that grew of like the suffering of a people, and they communicated together through song to lift it through the generations. Fast forward like a couple hundred years or whatever, and now it's basically how dudes demo guitars in public just by like shredding blues licks, and that's kind of like what it's been like watered down to. So yes, when it comes to that kind of thing, yeah, I can't stand the blues.
Here's what I'll say. I spent a lot of time learning the blues, and I'm glad I did, because I think that's part of the vocabulary and the way that I approach the instrument. And if you're a guitar player, it makes a lot of sense to study it.
Sure.
Personally, I wouldn't have much interest in playing only that. Epic Man Martin says, Lydian sucks. What do you think?
That's my favorite mode, bro. Come on. Come at me, dude.
Yikes.
I bet that's a blues fan. I guarantee you that's a blues fan, because there's no 4 chord.
This comes from someone who preferred to stay anonymous, as he is quite well known in musical communities. And he says...
Wait, is that his name?
That is not his name.
Can I see what it is? Wait, which one?
And he says, I hate the PRS Silver Sky.
Oh!
And it isn't just you.
You have come to the right place, my friend. Do you want me to give my thoughts on the PRS Silver Sky?
I liked it.
Sure, I mean, it's a great made guitar, but it shouldn't exist. That's my thing. Is this really the time and the place for the Silver Sky rant again? But okay, so you have John Mayer.
Do what you
right? John Mayer, kind of like the voice of the generation of guitar, specifically Strat players in general.
Yep.
And he kind of had a falling out with Fender. Copies the best they can do. PRS is like the kind of luxury brand of for what PRS does. So when they just took John Mayer on board and built him a Strat is an affront, thinking that he's actually bigger than the game in which he participates. And that's what I think about the Silver Sky.
Book closed. Okay, here's a controversial one. Marius Gerard Milo says, if guitar music is truly dying, I feel it's more the fault of internet guitar metal shredders, not boomers. Controversial, I like it. If guitar is dying, I don't think it's anyone's fault besides the general population that just said we're more interested in other things. Guitar kind of ran its course. It'll always have niche markets, but I think it's just the fact that it's been around for a long time. There's been a lot of innovation. Where else does it go that has mainstream appeal? I'm not really sure. I don't blame the guitar metal shredders.
Yeah, not at all.
Quite like the guitar metal shredders.
You know, I don't really listen to a lot of metal, but when it comes to metal, I bend the knee and I pay my respects.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they've taken the torch of guitar and like carried it forward.
Yeah, actually, I think that's a very good point. Okay, here's a good one. Landon Daniels says, controversial opinion, Sammy G, that's me, is bad at guitar. Here's what I'll say on this one.
Okay.
If you take a random sampling of the population of guitar players, I think I would be in the upper echelon of those people. If you took the highest end professional players, case to be made that I would not be as good as a lot of them. I think there are a lot of shortcomings in my playing. However, what I will say is I think I'm able to make the sounds that I want to make better than anyone else in the world could. I can do me better than anyone else. And that makes me happy.
fatty.
What are you talking about?
Jeez.
Guy doesn't like the Beatles. A lot of people don't like the Beatles.
That's weird. Again, I said they're overrated, but I love the Beatles.
Like a lot of them are people saying Beatles aren't really good. Okay, Ghost Notes _ music. His opinion is that the guitar community is the most toxic music community in existence.
Bro, have you been on the accordion community message boards?
This guy is beginning to get very bored of Tom Morello. He's not there yet.
It took 30 years. You know? You know, he's like been married 25 years. He's like, you know, hun? I think I might be getting bored of Tom Morello. That's a great one. That's my favorite one of all of them.
And I would say that's about it. Those are your controversial opinions. Those are our reactions to them. If you don't follow Sean, make sure you check out his channel using that button that's popping up there somewhere. Mm-hmm. And
a lot of controversy to be found there.
Yeah, so check it out. Oh, this isn't a good outro. We gotta do this one again.